Hello, it's Film Frenzy, and today I have the latest review for Stuber, the 2019 buddy cop film starring Dave Bautista and Kumail Nanjiani. Let's get right into this review with direction and visuals as my first category. The direction and visuals are a key part of these buddy cop action thriller comedy films, and thankfully Stuber does an excellent job with its direction and visuals. All the dialogue scenes I thought were carried out very well with the direction and the overall cinematography, although sometimes you could say it's a bit generic and those wide shots of LA or something, for example. It's very well done, and the action sequences are pretty awesome. It's a very gory film. The violence is very R-rated, and I think they use the R rating very well. There's lots of blood, but it's never done to crazy excess. It's pretty tasteful, I would say, and the scenes are very watchable and just makes it a very action-packed movie. Of course, since Stu, played by Kumail Nanjiani, is an Uber driver, there's going to be a lot of car chases and a lot of car action sequences. I think they use that element of the film to its best potential and create some of the awesomest action scenes and car chases I've seen in recent years. And overall, I'm a huge fan of the action sequences here, and it just makes the film that much more engaging. So I have to give Stuber 5 stars out of 5 for direction and visuals. Next to discuss acting and character development. Also, an extremely important part of these buddy cop films is the acting and character development, because it's a buddy cop film. The two cops, or the two buddies at least, the main two protagonists, they have to have great acting, great chemistry, and they have to get character development. So it's kind of formulaic, but these movies always entail two kind of an odd couple, polar opposites, learning something about life and how how should they become a better person from each other. And of course, that's exactly what happens in Stuber. And honestly, I'm not complaining, because I think this movie does it where it's not too cheesy, it's pretty irreverent, but it still packs a serious punch, and it does a good job. It's gonna be formulaic. I'll talk about that later in my last category, but for this category, the acting and character development is excellent. The supporting players are also very good, and I thought they were all acted very well. The cast is excellent in this film, and the main key points I'm talking about, of course, are Kumail Nanjiani and Dave Bautista as the Uber driver Stu, and Victor, who is an LAPD police officer, and their chemistry is absolutely fantastic. This movie rides on their chemistry. Their jokes are just excellent. Their delivery is great. You really get a clear sense of who the characters are by the end of the first act. They're developed fully, extensively, and it's an excellent job at that. And I think they both grow a lot throughout the film. I'm not going to do any spoilers here, but it'll be very clear as you watch the movie. And maybe it's a bit too overt at times, but that doesn't matter here. The acting and character development is excellent, and I can definitely tell that Kumail Nanjiani did some ad-libbing with his lines, because of course he was a stand-up comedian, and some of the jokes he tells in this movie are absolutely hilarious and remind me a bit of The Big Sick, which was an awesome film that he was in. So both of them did an amazing job. I can't wait to see more films with them, maybe together again or just one of them individually. They're phenomenal actors, and it proves they're not just one-trick ponies with The Big Sick and Guardians of the Galaxy. So for this category, I'm also going to give Stuber a 5 out of 5, acting and character development. My big final category to talk about is plot, pacing, script, and theme, or the various story elements. Stuber's got to have some faults, right? Yes it does, and that's what I talk about in this category. We're going to start with the plot, which is pretty basic. Basically, Act 1, you introduce first Victor, who's the LAPD officer, then Stu, who's the Uber driver, through two separate storylines, and you see them interact, and you see where their two storylines cross. And it's very fun. You predict when it's going to happen, but it's still kind of entertaining when you already know each of the characters, and then you see them cross paths. It's like, oh, that's kind of fun. It's really great how they do that. I think it's great that they're not just starting with the two characters already together, because it adds a little bit of familiarity before they introduce them together, so you get them to individually first, which I thought was excellent, and it furthers the character development. But in terms of the plot, basically it goes from there, and Stu has to be accompanied along on the ride as Victor has to fend off against drug case where he's trying to stop this drug dealer who killed his his ex-partner, and basically it's a story of like revenge, and there are a couple small twists along the way, along with some subplots involving what Stu would like to be doing with his time, and also how he wants a better Uber rating and stuff. There's a little bit of romance speckled in there, but I thought the romance was actually handled very, very well, and it was not actually very cliche. This movie works a lot on cliches and formulas, but in terms of the romance between Stu and the character of Becca, I thought that was handled very well and pretty original, and honestly felt pretty relatable for the audience, so I really approved of that. Although the plot gets very predictable at times, and there is that one big twist I mentioned, I'm not going to spoil it or anything, but I saw it from a mile away. It is so cliche, and I feel like it's literally in every single one of these like crime comedy films, or just crime films in general. There's always this certain twist. You'll know it when you see it in the third act. But overall, yes, the ending is predictable, but the plot is still, it's fine. And then the pacing, the pacing's excellent. This movie is only an hour and a half, and it goes by in a snap. It is so entertaining from start to finish. The jokes land like crazy. The action sequences are awesome. The acting is great. It just makes the movie fly by, and it's just a rush. I mean, this isn't Shakespeare or anything. This isn't like your fine movie. You're not going to get Memento or Moonlight out of Stuber, but what you're going to get is a totally entertaining experience at the cinema, and I think that is awesome. The script is very solid. I think 99% of the jokes landed. I was a huge fan of the script. I know some of the reviewers on Rotten Tomatoes, when I looked, they didn't love the script, but I personally found them hilarious. The jokes, they almost always clicked with me. Wide variety. They were hilarious. The movie felt like up to date too with current times, like a little bit of an update on the formula that was like, popular in the 80s with movies like 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cops, etc. And I thought the drama scenes, often they were a little bit melodramatic, I have to say. Luckily, most of the movie's about the humor, not as much the drama, but there were still some key dramatic sequences in the film that I thought were executed superbly, largely thanks to the main two lead actors, and also the actress who plays Nicole, who's the daughter of Victor. I thought she was great too. So there are some cheesy drama in there, but there's also some very genuine drama, and I think that outweighs the cheesiness. Finally, with the themes, there are some main themes about what it is to be a man, standing up for yourself, and just kind of like navigating, anti-toxic masculinity, with, the cop and the bravado and the vengeance and all that, with also, still being assertive and kind of finding the middle ground, which is what I talked about earlier with, them learning from each other, the two characters. It's a very predictable theme, and it's pretty overt, but nevertheless, it is still effective. So for this category, I'll be giving Stuber a 3.5 out of 5, largely thanks to a bit too formulaic plot, and the theme being a bit overt at times, and also some drama that's a bit melodramatic. So that leads to my final rating. So basically, all the knocks on the film happen in the story elements category, but that is the most important category. So for Stuber, I'll be giving the film a 4 out of 5. Very solid rating. It really defied my expectations. I thought it was just going to be decently entertaining. Maybe some jokes land and some don't. But instead, I got one of the most entertaining films I've seen in recent memory. I highly recommend you guys go out and watch this movie when it debuts in theaters July 12th. Thank you for watching this Film Frenzy review. Make sure to like and subscribe for more awesome reviews and rankings. I'm releasing my MCU ranked all 23 films coming very soon, along with a Spider-Man Far From Home review coming soon. So I'll see you guys later. This Film Frenzy signing off. Goodbye.